So I'm going to switch gears on you.
Uh-oh.
And before I really get into like the meat of this, I'm going to switch gears. So I want to talk about, there's a lot of people that watch this and listen to this that are like high school guys that are, you know, and that's the reason why I don't think I've ever told you, but I started getting hit up by so many young men wanting to join, and women that want to join the military. And they're like, you're going to get a kick out of this. You probably, actually, I said it too. You've probably said it in your youth that like, hey, you want to get better at push-ups, just do a bunch of fucking push-ups.
Right?
Yeah, like you want to get better at pull-ups, just do pull-ups, bro. And so I got hit up by like hundreds a day of these young men and women that are wanting to join the military that want to get in shape. So that's why Josh and I wrote those, training prep books. But I want to hear your thoughts on, put Cody back at 17 years old.
Oh man.
Yeah. And then now, like, you're joining. Like, so what advice would you offer guys that are, looking to join the military, go recon, or want to be MARSOC or whatever, just advance in the military in general? Like, you got some advice for these youngsters?
Yeah,
I think we can call them youngsters now because we're not those.
It's called respect time. I only joined the Marine Corps to be a scout sniper, so I had to go the infantry route. I didn't know really of recon, and I think I did,
Same,
but
yeah.
Recon didn't have like a scout sniper. At the time, I wanted
back then it was like an Outlander. It was like there's a.
I think it was like OJT when I first came in. Oh, or not OJT.
No. They had the MOS.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think 2000, 2001.
Okay.
Timeframe. Yeah.
And so, I remember I wanted to be a scout sniper. So I go to boot camp. And I wasn't like a great runner, wasn't great do push-ups, pull-ups. Yeah, man, it's a weird concept. Even though I graduated boot camp at 145 pounds. Do you believe that?
You were heavier than me. Dude, I was 142 when I graduated.
My wife pulled out a shirt yesterday because she's making a quilt of like all of my shirts instead of like having them in a drawer somewhere. And it was my, the drill instructor shirts. They wear those little like mesh shirts.
Yeah, the battalion shirts.
Oh my god, dude, it was a small, and I fit in that thing. And I thought like I was just like this big wearing it. But I would say the best advice is time. So anyway, and don't lose sight of what your goal is, right? So do everything in strides. And what I mean by that is when I got to the School of Infantry, they were doing a recon screen. They're like, hey, who wants to sign up for recon? Because there was a recon contract guys that signed up. And I'm like, shit, I'll try. And they're like, get away, boot. You can't swim. I'm like, but I wanted to be recon. Well, moral of this story is that once I decided that I wanted to go to the Force Reconnaissance Organization or the unit, I worked on my swimming. You actually
applied yourself.
Yeah, I applied myself. I seeked help. When I was getting ready for all my selections that I've been to, what I do, I seeked help. I asked guidance. I didn't try to reinvent the wheel myself. That's the problem where people get lost, right?
Well, I've gotten this comment a couple times. You've probably seen the books, but there's a lot of swimming in them. And some of these guys go, well, they want to take selection for MARSOC. They want to do a recon contract. And like, well, I don't have access to a pool. What should I do? Maybe you should find access to a pool. Why I don't have access? Well, I don't know what to tell you, bro. Like, if you're not going to swim at all and you think you're going to jump in and, go tread water for 45 minutes and, swim 500 meters in under 14:30,
and that's the thing. It's like, I think social media has screwed people's heads so much because they see it right there. They see the soft guy. They see the SWAT guy. They see the Green Beret, the Navy SEAL, the Marine Raider. They see it all. And they're like, oh, as easy as I can to double click it and put a little red heart on there.
I can do it.
I can do it.
Yeah.
I remember coming back from my second deployment with the infantry. I was a scout sniper, and I'm like, dude, I have to get out of this toxic environment, and it's time for the next level.
Josh talks about that a lot, about the negativity that everybody just kind of.
It lost it, man. I had that old breed of Marines that were my mentors and leaders, and they were getting out because they were all prior OF1, before that vets, and it was very normal for those guys to get out at 4 to 8 years, whatever, and they were stellar Marines. And so I go home on leave, and I knew as soon as I came back, I had another week, and then I had to take I was doing my Force Reconnaissance screening, and I was like, dude, I just kind of suck at swimming. So what I do, I brought my camis home. I'm back in my high school town, right, where people are still doing the same thing. I went to the YMCA. I got in the pool. The lady told me, you can't put your head underwater. I'm like, okay, whatever, dude. And I realized, what did I want more in life? Did I want excuses or did I want actions, right? And I swam, and it still sucked. But it was enough to know, okay, I know at this point in time, I'm starting to break, and this is how I can kind of cope with that. So when I actually get to the X, get to that objective area, being the screening or selection that I might not be 100% at, I at least know that I can make it to this point.
Yeah.
And I also know how to regain my calmness and or do the basics, right? Because people will go attack things like, I have to be the best runner, the best swimmer. Like, no, you don't. At the end of the day, to a certain degree, you just need to meet the standard. And people put their
do
own
your best. You gotta,
do your freaking best.
Like I remember when we would run, like back in the day when we would run screenings and stuff. It's like I was looking for, you have to meet the standard, right? And I always give an example, like you need to be around a 280. Like this idea that you need to be 6'5", jacked and tan and like
the Swede.
Running, the Swede, basically the Swede. Like that perception is not real. For instance, like Eddie Bravo, that's one of the toughest dudes that I know.
He's very normal looking.
He's like one of the tiniest Raiders I know, but the dude could carry more than me and hump up a mountain faster than I can. But we were always looking for, in Inoki, we were looking for like the heart. We were looking for guys that maybe they were only getting 80% on everything, but the dudes that just had that kind of no quit mentality, that came prepared. That you could tell they came prepared. And
that's the thing, man. Like, dude, I wasn't my very first. When I went to RIP, the indoctrination program, dude, I think I ran maybe like 30 screenings. I think because every twice a week, something stupid, right? But it's to the point that was like autopilot. But thing is, like people want that instant gratification. They're like, how do I build muscle and run a 16-minute, 3 mile? I'm like, you don't unless you're a freak.
Yeah.
And thing is like people are like willing to sacrifice their youth and the journey for the now response, right?
Right.
So like,
and there's this because of social media and because of how much Google. Like when I came in, there was no fucking internet.
Yeah.
What the hell was the internet? We had pagers. So this
definitely had a pager.
This generation, they, and I don't want to knock them, but like there's so much information out there. They feel that they're entitled to the information.
Yeah,
I'm entitled to know everything beforehand. When no, here's the standard. You need to go prepare, and then you need to go experience it for yourself.
Yeah, it just takes time. It's an investment, right? Like no one gets $1 million in the bank account by putting $1 in there, right? It takes time, and it takes that like constant like investing into yourself to like reach that state to be successful. And people aren't willing to sacrifice. I'm not saying sacrifice your life, but people aren't willing to, not all the time, but most of the time, people aren't willing to invest and do a sacrifice. Like for instance, when I finally became a Force Reconnaissance Marine, all I wanted to do was be a big jacked dude and like kicking doors. Newsflash, because I was a sniper for so long before that, I was put on a recce team, and I'm still eating MREs. I'm still living in the bush.
Yep.
And I'm still running like 6+ miles a day because that's what my team did. We were the reconnaissance team, so we had to have like
that was your requirement. That's what you needed.
And I'm like, bro, when are we gonna get to the gym? Because I wanted to be that stigma. I wanted to be that big jacked Force guy that I looked up to when I was in the sniper platoon. Right. And my team leader told me, he's like, you can go to the gym after we run. And I never went to the gym because I was so smoked, right? And I was just a small little beanpole.
Well, I remember we went to staff. Do you remember that? We went to staff academy together.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Dude, that was a while ago. Oh yeah, that was so stupid.
And I remember I was like, I think that's when we met, right?
I think so.
Yeah, and we met, and I was like, "How long have you been in?" And how long? 4 or 5 years?
4.5 years.
I was like, "What the fuck are you doing here?" And he's like, "I don't know. I'm here. Yeah. We're PTing."
Oh, those days.
But we had a good crew. Like if you're gonna go through, I mean, not to jump subjects from high school, but if you're gonna go through like PME, do it with a bunch of.
We had Heffington.
We had like 8 dudes, man. Dude, like we ran that place. It was like it was a total clown show. But I actually didn't mind it because all you guys were there. Anyways, back to high school guys. You're not entitled to the information, and you got to put in the work and the time. Like it's not gonna happen. You're not gonna be a super stud when you graduate. You go to BRC and you graduate. Like we all know those guys. Like you get out. I mean, I was one of those guys too. Like cocky as shit.
Oh, when you get out of the course?
Yeah, when you graduate BRC.
But yeah, the best advice is just do it. The worst thing you can ever do is not. And when times get tough,
and you and understand that you might fail, and that's okay.
It's right. It's okay. It's okay to fail. I mean, actually, I remember I didn't even pass my first screening. I didn't pass the swim, and I tried. I just didn't pass it. I ended up getting like invited back because I had, I guess, the heart they were looking for, and then I had to like prove myself for the next one. But at least got me in the doorway. and it devastated me, dude. But the problem is like I didn't quit. I did not meet that standard.
You learned from it.
I learned, and I'm just like, oh my God. And it helped me respect the environment that I was trying to go to even more.
How serious you really had to take it.
Because it's not like a hand-me-out organization. And, one of the big analogies, not analogies, but like, it's like I have a bunch of people that hit me like, hey, how do I become a Navy SEAL? I'm like, well, I don't know. Talk to a SEAL. I'm not a SEAL. But I can only imagine what those young sailors are going through when they're going through BUDS. I mean, being at BRC, we're right there where BUDS is at, and or at least at the time. But it's like it's all about mindset, right? Like those guys haven't been put through certain rigors inside Navy boot camp, and so when they get to that first like hardship, like I'm hungry, I'm tired, I'm wet.
Well, they get stuck in that. They make a permanent decision in like a temporary problem. Like you get stuck in that, and you and I both know it. Like you get on that E&E and those long patrol phases, and you're like, and you're doing these long ruck runs and in the sand and just
it's supposed to suck.
It does, but it all ends.
Yeah,
whatever pain,
ends.
whatever
you can't
pain,
stop time.
yeah, whatever pain. Like that's what was my mentality, and I was a little older when I went through it, but that was my mentality. It was like, sure, you can put me through whatever you want, but this shit comes to an end eventually.
Absolutely,
you got to go home. So when you go home, I'm done. So.
Yeah, like no one. It's just like a dating someone, right? No one wants the girlfriend like, hey, you want to go on a date? Sure, and it's just people want the challenge. They want the struggle, right? Not the struggle, really. That sucks. But they want like the engagement aspect. So like no one's like, hey, I want to be a Raider. Okay, here's your device. Here's your uniform.
No, you gotta. Yeah, it means nothing. Then
it means nothing. So those times where it sucks and it's scary, and you feel like if you're not feeling. Unless you're just a freak of nature where nothing phases you, but if you're not wanting to quit inside, you're probably just a freak, or like this is not that important to you. I mean, I couldn't tell you. When I went to RIP, I wanted to quit every day, and I was a sergeant going through, and there's all
so
like
was I. It was horrible.
It was horrible. Like I would literally like lay on the bed with my other buddies, like shaking, like, "Are we going to the pool today?" Because they're like, "Hey, we're going to the pool." Let me just tell you real fast. They never had a key to the pool, so we always had to jump the wall. That should tell you what type of training we were doing. It's called scary training.
That's a good term for it, scary
like,
training.
I'm like, I don't want to go to the pool. Oh my God, they're gonna like make someone quit today, or someone's gonna quit it.
Back then, I mean,
yeah, it was scary.
Back then, people died on the reg in RIP.
100%.
Yeah.
But I'm a grown man. Yeah. Well, grown-ish man. And I'm like shaking in front of like these like 18, 19-year-old kids because they don't get it. I'm like, dude, I've seen some stuff, but like I'm really freaking out right now. And these dudes are so young, whippersnappers, and they're in the pipeline, right? So it has to pass this, and they're all fighting for one seat, so they don't care. They're just like hard tanks. I'm like, oh my God, I hope I can make it today. But I wanted to quit almost every day, especially every day we hit in the water. But it was good because I just enjoyed and appreciated being in a reconnaissance Marine that much more because I earned it. I worked my butt off for it, and it all paid off at the end. But nothing comes easy.
Well, nothing worth anything comes easy.
There you go. That's a better way to put it. Absolutely. Yeah. But it's okay to hit walls and challenges. It's okay to hit struggles. It's okay to reset and like kind of recock, regroup, and then re-engage.
Do you so kind of switching subject? So I'm 17. I want to join the Marine Corps. Do you think that I should be like doing shooting and tactics and everything?
Absolutely not.
I agree. I'm the same way.
I remember when I wanted to join the boot camp. When I joined the Marine Corps, I signed up at 17. Dude, I would pick up like logs and like my buddy and I would like thrash each other like. Yeah. Hold it above your like just stupid stuff, right? Like stupid shit like we would make fun of people doing now. But like hold it above your head, hold it out in front of you, do squats, just because like we didn't know what to expect, right? It was a very scary step. But dude, I didn't shoot a gun. I was a scout sniper as soon as I joined and I went to school. I didn't shoot one gun before I came in. Not one. I did.
But I think that's a good thing.
I did no room clearing. I did play paintball because paintball was fun. It was a healthy, activity with good friends and whatnot. But the thing is, like, once again, people were like, "Oh, that dude's got cryo precision JPC and an airframe. I need this now. I need to buy this before I go to boot camp." Like, no, you don't. Yeah. I'm like, how about you go achieve what you're trying to do, learn what it is you achieved.
Think about as a recon team leader, and you get some boot that came in that had been doing airsoft and CQB tactics his whole.
Oh yeah, I've had those.
I would be livid.
I've had those guys, and I'm like, what are you doing? Because there's a huge misconception of like the airsoft realm, like, oh, that dude is like super tight, or that guy is super great on Call of Duty. He's like a great tactician. That's not real. None of that is real.
Right.
Playing a game or playing airsoft is not combat, because what they don't understand is that people go into like an airsoft paintball mindset where like, I don't want to get shot, but if I do,
it's not a big deal.
I'm not dead.
Yeah.
I just raise my hand and I'm out of this game. When you go to combat and you're shooting at someone that's shooting at you with live bullets, the concept is completely different. The way your brain's processing the chemicals that are being released, the way you're utilizing your tactical mindset, the whole chessboard changes.
That's the reason why I've told guys like, well, what courses could I take? What should I? Nothing. You should get in shape. That's it.
And like
study and get in shape, and don't worry about it. The Marine. Believe it or not, Marine Corps, that's what they're good at, is teaching and training like that. We're professionals at it, and they're going to teach you what you need to know, and you're going to have experienced guys to teach you what you need to know.
Yeah.
Don't build bad habits.
Absolutely. I mean, I was a CQB instructor, I was a sniper instructor, special reconnaissance instructor at the Raider Training Center, and a lot of guys like, hey, I went to this course, or I was in XYZ platoon shooting pistol thing before I got here. Those are like my worst students, because they had an ego that they weren't willing to break, because they chest pounded getting into the organization. They made it because they obviously showed like the proper, attributes that we were looking for. But when it came to certain aspects of like, especially in that shooting environment, they had super bad habits they just weren't willing to break. And then people that hit me up like, hey, what do I need to do to go to MARSOC? Like, nothing. Like, prepare yourself, contact the recruiter. More importantly, I tell people, once you contact the recruiter and they give you the app, hit me back up.
Yeah.
Once you get a selection date, hit me back up.
Yeah.
Because I don't care about, it's not wasting my time, because one thing I do like about social media is that it's a way to connect to people, to kind of like educate. But I'm also a realist, like, yo, bro, don't waste my time if this is not for you. Like, I don't care about your excuses. Like, I can only tell you this in simple terms. I just want
to say real quick that you cannot join the Marine Corps and go straight to MARSOC. I know we kind of jumped that, but like,
you can't.
You can't.
And it's a good thing. Establish a baseline.
Yeah.
Figure out what it is you want in life, because you might like the picture, you might like the recruiting video, but you might get in the military and realize that this structure is just not for you. Or you might see some guys that are in MARSOC and be like, you know what, man, that guy was a butthead to me, or that guy was super cool and I want to join. Or maybe I'm not. I have a family now that I didn't have before I joined.
That's definitely a consideration.
Yeah, and it's okay. Just because social media has a pictures blast, or just because Timmy next door is X, doesn't mean you have to be. At the end of the day, it boils down to being happy.
And I think we missed the thing. Like, I hit a lot of people to say, I was just this, or I was just that. And it makes me want to slap them like, dude, listen, you like 0.4% of our population of 333 million served the country. If you served, fucking, you're my friend, dude. I don't care if you were an admin guy, a motor T guy, an armor. I don't give a shit what you were. If you had the balls to go to basic training and put a uniform on and live that military life for a time, you and I are friends.
The only dudes I don't like is like, I was going to, but
yeah,
I wanted to, but
yeah, like,
all the time, like, hey man, I was just a straight leg, ex-battalion guy, thanks for your service. I'm like, no, thank you, dude.
Yeah,
like, you were just like I don't know who you think I am. But
don't sell yourself short. There's a lot of jobs out there. Don't sell
yourself short. Some of the best students that go through the MARSOC pipeline are non-03 background, because they're eager, they're open-minded.
Well, they have something to prove.
They have something to prove, yes, and there's some cockiness, some not cockiness, but they're excited because they want to accomplish something that was never done it.
They've never done it, yeah.
And they're a clean state trooper.
I was that way. I was a pogue coming in.
No comment.
You gotta say something better than that. You can't leave me hanging with no comment after I say I was a pogue.
I will say this too. Some of my best friends that are in organizations within the MARSOC community and in other organizations did come from like non-infantry backgrounds.
So I've had a lot of conversations about this actually. And my first force recon platoon, there was only, I want to say, like 3 former 0311s or 369s. Everybody was from a different, which is pretty, like, that many. That's a lot back then, back in 2003, 2004. But this was what was interesting. Everybody was from so vast different MOSs, that platoon could do anything.
Yeah.
Like, we had a boat mechanic, we had a motor T mechanic, we had a water purification
specialist.
Force
multiplier, man.
Yeah. So it's like, because here's the thing, guys, you have to think about is we are all trained to do, like, once you get to the unit, once you go recon or once you go become a Marine Raider, we're all trained to basically do the same thing. So we all have a base level skills, but it's what else you bring to the table that really makes you an asset. like, oh, well, I actually know how to work on a 55 horsepower Johnson motor.
Because I don't.
Because most guys don't. But when you're 14 miles, off the coast of whatever country, and your little Zodiac boat goes dead, all of a sudden that boat mechanic you were making fun of is now your best friend, or the guy that can work a hot wire vehicle, or the guy who knows how to turn your water bladder into a freaking hot tub when you're in Afghanistan, which happened. Did you have one of those?
Hot water pool?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. And it's crazy, man. Like water purification guys, they're like, oh, I know how to do this, but boom, boom, boom. Next thing you know, you have a hot tub.
Yeah.
So it's like you said.
People just got to get past like, I gotta be this path, become this end state. The greatest thing about MARSOC is you could have any MOS. You can literally be anything.
You could join and be aircraft mechanic,
and that's cool.
And then take over.
Because just like you said, Nick, like some of the best guys on my team came from the non-O3 background because they were diverse. They had a different way of thinking. I don't want all the guys to have the same thought process. Mongo smash. I want Mongo smash, and other dudes like Mongo don't smash. Like
not right now.
Let's Mongo fix this thing.
Yeah, right.
And nothing else is. And it's all about being like what's the word I'm looking for? Like self-reliant, right?
Yeah.
You can. That's what special operations is. It's being able to rely independently within your team, right? In any type of environment that exists, and accomplish the mission. Well, if everyone is a type of job skill set and a problem arises, it's kind of hard to be flexible.
Right.
But when you have those different thought processes that go into that team aspect, I mean, dude, everything is accomplishable. Everything is possible. And
you guys, like the team or whatever, the platoon team, whatever you're at, like you can accomplish so much more.
Yeah. And like for people that are listening to this right now, if I was a 17-year-old kid and I wanted to join the Marine Corps, and my end state, at least right now at 17, I wanted to be a Marine Raider, what I would do, this is a weird concept, people, take advantage of bonuses that the Marine Corps is offering you. I think you can go into like cybercom, you can go into like EOD, like whatever you can go in as an entry-level thing. Go in there.
Combat engineer.
Yeah. Go in there, get that money and put it away in the bank. Don't spend it 18-year-old at Jacksonville, North Carolina. But like put that money in the bank, learn a skill set. See what you think about that, a transitionable skill set on top of that, and then once you meet the requirements to go to selection.
But not only that, like if you're in a job like that, say you're a combat engineer, you're holy shit, that's an asset to a team.
100%.
But now you have the time to actually train for 3 years to prepare yourself for selection.
Yeah, because if you think you need to be an infantryman to go to MARSOC, let me tell you about all the infantrymen that hit me up on Instagram, like, hey, I want to go to MARSOC, but my command sucks. I want to go to MARSOC. I got to do this stupid MEU again. I got to do this stupid training. They're always gone because they're training for the worst case scenario.
Right.
And it's like, okay, you're going to go into the dime a dozen plot of land and just suffer where your command's not going to be super supportive. But when you go to the external command, like a non-infantry background, be like, yeah, we'll absolutely, sign your paperwork so you can go to selection, or we'll definitely give that time off to go do this stuff.
But Cody, I want to kick in doors and shoot people in the face.
Yeah, so does everyone else. And let me tell you how much of that's happening within the organization. It's called sign up and see what happens.
Nice. Put your time in. So, hey, basically what we're saying, guys, is, and I think Cody's saying the same thing, is focus on you, focus on your physical fitness, focus on your brain. Hell, learn a language. You know what I mean? Like that's a benefit.
Yeah, like that's actually super great advice. Like young people, young adults are so smart nowadays, right? Like the answers to the world is in your fingertips, right? Like this device right here can tell you everything you need to know about anything in life, right?
Right.
And thing is, like they want to watch tactical videos at the age of 17, but they never even shot a gun, right? They don't even know how to like a proper stance. But that's more important than like Rosetta Stone or a free language. Your tactical, I don't get paid extra money for how I shoot and perform in like a shoot house or in combat. I get paid extra for a language. That's a weird concept, people. You can get paid up to like 3 languages in the military, at least in the Marine Corps. That's a bunch of money. People are like, I don't care about money. I just want to be an operator. Okay. Come to our organization with a language already, and you can shave off potentially 9 months of language course. If you have a certain skill set language that is going to an operational battalion and you meet all the requirements, you can shave off that entire like language course or a good portion of it. So if you want to be that quicker to like kicking indoors or doing all the cool guy stuff, being a badass, learn your language.
So there you go. PT, Find a good program. Doesn't have to be mine. It can be anybody's, but find a solid program to follow. Increase your physical fitness, and then learn to speak some languages.
Yeah, man.
Learn your history too. I feel like a dad. I am a dad, but
you are a dad.
like go to school, stay in school, don't do drugs.
Eat your Wheaties.
Eat your vegetables. Eat your vegetables.
Oh yeah,
meat.
your vegetables.
Or drink them. Do some strong drinks.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like don't worry about the tactical stuff. The tactical stuff will come later. But like train your brain, train your body, and then go from there.